podcast. Now, if you need to get to the beginning, have a look up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Enjoy. Read in 10-minute sections, over 55 parts. All are free here on YouTube. Scene 27. I am sailing. The upper Lido deck and bar are full of guests massed against the rail, overlooking the pool deck below. They're waving flags and happily singing Roar Britannia, obviously not getting its true slight against King George II. I look up, expecting to see a flyover by the red arrows. But what is this? It is impossible to gain view of the deck below. So I decide to go down and investigate what is the centre of this jingoism. Even the stairs are busy, and I hope it doesn't turn into a conga. The epicentre has an explosion of excitement emanating from Georgie. She is on the sun-kissed mezzanine deck opposite, supported by her team, all in slacks, white shirts and blazers, doing a well-rehearsed routine, waving and singing. They all wear headset microphones, so their hands are free. I'm going to ask for one of those when I'm on stage. I want my hands free to gesticulate. The song ends, and the odd notes now tinkling in the background are the start of Rod Stewart's I Am Sailing. I'm sure there have been other versions, but they have been forgotten. He owns it now. The crowd cheer wildly. They know what's coming. Georgie and her team are now parading, that's the only word for it, down the stairs each side of their raised staging to the wooden edge of the pool, addressing all the guests. It's not a record playing. I can see a pianist and a band left on the mezzanine that Georgie has vacated. They are repeating the opening bars of the sailing anthem and watching for a cue. The opening will last as long as Georgie wants, and she is up to something. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, some of our fabulous entertainers are leaving the ship over the next few days. I want you to welcome the comedian from Havana, Cuba, Manuel Martinez. Georgie shouts up and waves to the smart-looking man with a moustache who has appeared at the front of the mezzanine stage. Come on down, Manuel, she shouts. Manuel runs down the steps and joins them around the edge of the pool, arms waving. And one of the West End's most talented singers, Elaine Space. Elaine walks to the front, beaming and waves. Drink, sir? A waiter asks me. I'm so tempted to join this party and enjoy myself, but I refuse with a smile. Elaine, come on down. Elaine trots down the stairs and joins the team on the other side of the pool, but Manuel is stealing that show. Let's have a big round of applause for Elaine and Manuel, Georgie shouts. The crowd oblige, with cheers and applause. They really do respect the work the entertainers put in. Seeing this show from the crowd, I might just start with the line, had Britain continued to be part of the original plan for the canal in 1843, it might have been called the Atlantic and Pacific British Canal and been bigger and better. Wow. And now there is one more entertainer I want you all to meet, because you'll be meeting him very shortly as he takes you through the Panama Canal with his expert knowledge, Georgie shouts, turning my way, arm up and pointing straight at me. How did she see me in the crowd? The world has stopped. A sea of faces turns to me in slow motion, and I freeze. Let's give a great seafaring welcome to a wonderfully handsome, charismatic military hero, Commander Kieran Phillips. Come on down, Kieran. She didn't just do that, did she? Am I now waving and smiling? The first rule of undercover work is to blend in, act like a local, be seen as a local, therefore never be seen at all. I think I'm going to be singing along with Rod any minute. I remember now, it was the Sutherland brothers. They sang the original. It's their song, my inner self protests. Chapter 28. And Quiver. Life on the bridge of this cruise ship is far more sparkling, spacious, and polite than a military ship. But there are similarities. So much so, I'm fearful of becoming too familiar with the crew. If I was making crew announcements on a military ship, officers would pour a pint of milk down the back of my pants, tie shoelaces together, or much worse, sabotage my speech. I am sure the crew will do something before we've gone through the 3 chambers. I can tell. I am being professionally ignored. Even though we have slowed right down, the lock system is getting closer far too quickly. I break my fixation of the huge sea gate to the canal to spread my notes out on the sill below the cleaned windows of the bridge. I've hardly even scanned them. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your captain speaking from the bridge. He has a way of adding an I between the P and the T to make the ain sharper. I guess it's his stamp on the announcement he makes. My eyes are fixed on him and the wry smile he speaks through. To say we have a real treat is an understatement. Not only are we all about to transit the Panama Canal, but to talk you through it, I hand you over to Commander Kieran Phillips, he finishes. A young officer now stands before me, holding the captain's microphone, which I am obliged to take, a little earlier than I had expected. Good afternoon, everyone, and how lucky we are to have a pleasant sunny afternoon for our partial transit, because this side of Panama has 4 times the annual rainfall of the United Kingdom, and when it rains here, it buckets down. Today, it looks like we can head towards Gatun Lake below sunset, with a cocktail on deck and no need to consider wind or rain. I'm really performing for the captain as I walk across the bridge to check the other side, microphone in hand. I pause because I can't be expected to talk continuously. Can I? I turn back to the other side of the bridge. My notes have gone. I've been concentrating on looking and acting the part, and someone has taken my notes. Not one of them is looking my way. Not the captain, not the officers, and certainly not the local pilot. I turn and look out of the wing of the bridge back down the ship to the road bridge we just sailed through. We just passed what will be the 3rd bridge that will span the Panama Canal. It is known as the Atlantic Bridge. The other bridges, the Bridge of Americas and the Centennial Bridge, are both on the Pacific side. The canal, the road and the railway were all built to get to the Pacific and were in part fueled by the gold rush. This new road bridge is a double pylon, double plane, concrete girder, cable stayed structure with a main span of 530 metres and 2 side spans of 230 metres. I slide the switch on the side of the microphone to off again to look at the officers. Let me know if I go wrong. The whole transit commentary will have to be done from memory. I wonder how my vacation ended up being such a challenge on every front. Wind is a factor here. The tugboats you can see either side are shadowing our progress to the lock gates to ensure we're straight and on target. There's a call for bigger and more powerful tugs as the new canal extension has invited bigger cruise and container ships which are affected more by the wind. Whilst this ship has side thrusters, if used, they would disturb the water in the inlets too much, so tugboats are preferred and can do the job far more easily. You'll see the gate to the 1st chamber opening ready for us. In the middle of the forward 2 lock entrances, you will see a pier jutting out towards us, with the first of several small trains that we will become familiar with. These are known as mules, and they're not there to pull us through the locks. The ship's own forward thrust will perform that duty. The mules are there to keep the ship safely in the middle of the canal. I slide the microphone switch off again for a moment's breath. Just as I refuse to look for my stolen notes, the crew are ignoring my loss. The next section needs no explanation, even if I did have my text. I step forward and take in the engineering. It is basic and predictable, like so many huge industrial feats from the late 19th century. I raise my microphone to speak, but am beaten by Captain Feldman on my right, who whispers a reminder to me. "Don't forget to tell them about the death toll. They love those figures," he offers. Another officer leans in. "The height of water rise. And don't mention the drug trade," another says. "No," agrees the captain. I am being put through my paces as their day's entertainment. I switch my mic back on. The locks are not here because the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean are at different levels. Sea level is the same. To go from coast to coast, the canal must cut through mountainous rainforests. Water cascading down from great heights forms many small lakes, which are all much higher than the level of the sea. To excavate this whole huge area down to one sea level would still be impossible today. So the 3 chambers here at Gatun will rise our ship in stages, 85 feet to the Gatun Lake, formed between 1907 and 1913 by the building of the Gatun Dam here in the Chagres Valley, across the Chagres River. Then it was the largest man-made dam and the largest man-made lake. And now our captain would like to say a few words. I end, passing him the microphone and smiling. As he takes the microphone, the crew on the bridge applaud briefly before he switches on and adds a few tales of his own. I'm sure not every lecturer is treated this way, but then not every holidaymaker has a shootout with a drug cartel as a day excursion. My cruise has only just started.